Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Thelma's Creations and more. Today I'm excited to bring to you the first ever subscriber question video that I'm going to do. The Joy of Caregiving, hello, left me a question in one of my videos regarding my devotional journal, and her question is, if I don't have a sewing machine, if you don't have a sewing machine, how do you put the pages together? In my devotional journal, I sewed, as you can see, my pages together to make the journal. So she's asking how she can put the pages together without a sewing machine. So I am going to show you 3 ways to do just that. So I just cut up some pieces of scrapbook paper that I had. So you're going to take your papers, right? Whatever size. I'm just using these 2 pieces of paper, but it could be bigger, thick. It could be bigger, wider, longer. It's just for demonstration purposes. So the first one I am going to take, I have twine here, but I suggest that you get embroidery floss. It's cheap and it's available at your local Walmart. You don't have to have a Hobby Lobby or an art supply store. You can find it at Walmart, embroidery floss. And all you're going to do is you're going to take a piece, and I like to paper clip my papers together. Why do I do this? So that they won't move. And so you have a line right here, as you can see, where you folded the paper. So you're going to take your embroidery floss, I have twine in my case, and you're going to put it on that line. You're going to close your book, or your journal, or your signature. Excuse me, my allergies are flared up. And so you're going to knot it, paying attention to your corners of your pages. You do not want to pull them so tightly that you start doing that to the paper or turning the corner. So you want them nice and snug. Put your snug on the corners, kind of taut here. I hold it down with my finger and I tie it. And then you trim it however long you want. Now you can leave this part exposed of your journal, of your book, and it'll add to your decoration. Or you can do what I've done here, is add lace or trimmings to here to cover up your binding, which is this, the strings. If you're going to cover it up, I suggest that you, hold on, if you leave the tails on there and you want it as your decoration, you can tie beads here, anything to decorate these, and they look nice. If you're going to cover it up with lace or fabric, I suggest you cut them, a little shorter. You take, I'm just going to grab this piece of fabric because I had it here, but this would be lace or ribbon or whatever it is that you're going to cover up the spine with. In my case here, I use lace. So let's just pretend this is lace or whatever you want to cover it up. I would take the tails and I would just spread them apart. See what I did? Here's one tail, here's the other tail. I would put them down, kind of so that they're against your book. Right, this would be your lace, and I would glue down the lace with Fabri-Tac glue. And that's one way of putting your pages together. It's the easiest way. However, I would tell you that it is the way that your pages are less secure. What do I mean by that? in this way of binding or putting them together, see how this is loose? There's an advantage to it. The advantage is once you decorate your cover and you've used all the pages in your book, then this type of binding, this type of putting together your book, your pages, or your signature, your journal, however you want to call it, gives you an opportunity to slide your pages out and then replace them with new ones, which you have cut to the same size, right? You fold them in half. Then you can just guide them in here. And you'll forever have a new notebook. Right now, this string moved because there's nothing holding it in place. For example, here, remember, you would have your lace. It would be glued down. You would have glued this part. You would have put the ribbon or lace on here. So you would be able to slide it in. This wouldn't move. So that's the advantage of it. The disadvantage of it is exactly the same as the advantage, is that the pages will move. If you're not gentle enough with your book, your journal, your signature, the pages will move. It also depends on how you plan to decorate them. If you're going to have a lot of decoration, sometimes it won't go through because it's bulky here and you'll have a hard time taking your pages out. Or if they move, you might destroy your decoration. But this is the way I started making booklets when I first started making little journals and books like that, because it was the easiest and I didn't have to invest really anything. I had paper already and I would just use embroidery floss. At one point I even used regular sewing thread. I would just double it or triple it so it could be stronger. So that's the advantage to this one. There's idea number one. And I was so happy that the Joy of Caregiving asked me a question, because I know there's lots of people that have this question. How do I put together a book if I don't have a sewing machine? So thank you so much for asking it. Trust me, you're helping a lot of people. The next one that I'm going to show you is easy as well. And it is using a stapler. Now, when you use a stapler, it will depend on how wide your book is. This one is this wide, right? The reason it depends on it is because when you're using a regular staple, you see this right here? That's where it's going to stop, giving you the ability to staple. And let me explain what that means. So to staple it, again, you have your fold line in the middle. I put the paper clips so they could hold the papers together. In your stapler, you have a guide. You see this right here? That is a guide that tells you where the staples are going to be on your paper. It also, if you see closely, it'll show you where the stapler will come out. The staple will come out. It has a little point there. That's where the staple will come out, right? So you can use that. Oops. You can use those as guides. So your point, or the way this is going to be achieved, you're going to take this and this as your guides, and you're going to want to hit that middle line as close as possible. So I'm going to put it down. Oops. Okay. Let's see. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to align this little corner right here, that piece. This piece right here, that corner right there. You can't even see that. That corner right there. Nope, you can't see that either. What can I use to show you? The black? Yeah. This corner, that edge of the silver part on the stapler, I'm going to put it to this little line right here. we go. So I aligned the edge of the stapler to the line. The line's right there, and I'm trying to show you. See how the line's right there? And then I'm just gonna staple. And it stayed in the middle. Sort of, kind of. See where the line is? And the staple's a little bit off, but that's fine. And so you're gonna do 3, or you can do 1. It depends what you want. I would staple 3 times. And oops, what happened to the staple? Of course, the stapler jammed. Let's see. Let's fix this. Okay, I can't do that because I'm gonna ruin that. I don't even think I have pliers here. Crafter problems when we're doing things. It happens all the time, right? Ah, it came right out. Thank you. So I don't have to ruin my scissors. Note to self, put your pliers in here. Your needle nose. Okay. Alright, here we go. So I will put 3 again. Using that as a guide. And then 1 more. Okay. So you have your papers together, and now they're binded. So now, when you have your paper, you have the staples in the middle. You're going to be able to see them in the middle, just like in my journal, you can see the lines of the stitching, right? These, you're going to see the staples. What you can do to hide the staples inside, if you so wish, is take some ribbon. And I'm trying to see. I do not have ribbon at my disposal. But at my disposal, you can take ribbon. Here, I'll use this instead. This is a piece of tea dyed paper. Actually, coffee stain paper. Then again, there were my scrap pieces of paper when I did a booklet, a journal. So you would take a ribbon. I would take a ribbon and I would put it down here. Measure that. Cut it to the length you need it. I would fold it in half. And this is about 1 inch wide. I folded it in half, so now I have like a little fold right there. And what I would do is I would glue it down in the middle. And so now when I'm just gonna glue a piece of it. When you open, ow, man, I got myself, hold on. Dude. Okay, now I have glue all over, not glue, blood all over my mat on the side. Things that happen to us crafters. Okay. I got myself on the staple edges, and that's what I was going to tell you. So now when you open up your signature, you would not see the staples. See? You would see the paper. You could use it as part of your decoration. On the outside, that's what I was going to tell you. I suggest that you put ribbon or paper to decorate it and to cover up the staples, because they will hurt you. Like what happened to me. So that's another suggestion on how to bind your pages without a sewing machine. The last one that I want to talk about is actually sewing your pages together with a needle and embroidery floss. I have to keep an eye on my finger because I bleed easily. And those that know me know that I bleed easily. And I don't mean a drop. I mean I will start oozing and stuff will get all over the place. Okay, so I just put the paper clips like I did the last time. I folded them in half. For this one, you are going to need a needle. Now, I want you to pay attention to the needle. The needle is not a normal sewing needle. This one has a bigger eye. I wonder if it'll show it better here. Yep, it has a bigger eye, and it's thicker than a regular sewing needle. You can find this type of needle there, wherever you can find needles. Just look and pay attention to the eye, and they're thicker. I can't remember the name right now of this needle, but you can definitely see the difference in the packaging when you go. You can even get them at Walmart. So it's thicker. Then you're going to need some kind of string. I would highly suggest buying embroidery floss, because you can find it at your local Walmart, and it's very inexpensive. It's in $1, a little not spool, but a little bunch, I guess. Sort of comes like that. They're at your local Walmart, and you don't have to have a special lace store. That's all you're going to need. Now, you need to measure your string that you need to make sure you have enough to do your stitching on your book. You're going to need to measure the length of your journal booklet signature. Those are all just different words for the same thing. Your little booklet, your journal, or sometimes it's called a signature. So I measure it by putting the string here and here. That's 1 time. You're going to need 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and then I give it an extra just to make sure I have enough. Cut that off. Now, sorry for the noise. Now I need to thread my needle. When you thread your needle, make sure that you get all the little threads, floss, of your twine, of your string. Because just like embroidery floss, this twine is made out of different fibers that are kind of twisted together. And you want to get them all through the eye. If you're having a hard time, you can always put a piece of tape at the end. Are you going to make me put a piece of tape at the end? Come on. Sometimes you can squish them through. Sometimes you have to put the tape. Did it go through? Yay, it went through. Okay. So to make the pamphlet stitch, you're going to have to make 3 holes. Now, if this were my journal, this is how I do things. I would measure, right? And I would make take a measurement of the length of your paper, and I would divide it by 3 so they're evenly spaced. That's just me, right? I think it's neater. I think it looks nice. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to eyeball it, meaning I'm just going to guess. Basically, you need one in the middle, and then one about an inch away from the top, an inch away from the bottom. And that works just great as well. But I usually gift my journals, or I have sold them in the past. So since I'm selling them or giving them away, or even for myself, if you have not noticed, I had a viewer, a friend of mine, tell me that I'm a perfectionist, and well, she's not the first one that's told me that, and I am. I like clean lines. I like it nice and presentable. I don't like smudges, just because I think that if I want it for me, right, I want something nice, and if I'm going to give it to somebody or I'm going to sell it to somebody, it's going to be super nice. So it's up to you if you want to eyeball it, if you want to measure it. So I'm going to take the same needle. Like I said, this one's a thicker needle. I'm going to make one kind of in the middle, and I'm going to put it in the middle of the fold line, and I'm going to push it all the way through, and then one around 1 inch from the top. Do the same thing, push it through, and on the bottom, push it through. Like I said, these holes are going to be bigger because I have a thicker needle than a regular sewing needle. If a sewing needle is all you have, you can do the same thing, but when you poke it through, right, I would like go like this with it, so you can make the kind of move it around in a circular motion so that the hole becomes wider. It just makes it easier for you to push the floss through. Those of us that work with journals a lot, booklets, pamphlets like this, signatures, we tend to have this tool, and this tool is called an awl. And all it is, you get it, is a tool that makes holes. And so when you first, it's tapered, it has a fine tip, and then it gets thicker at the end. So when you make a hole, when you first make it, it makes a tiny hole. I don't know if you can even see that. There we go. But as you keep pushing it through, it makes a bigger hole. The advantage to having this tool is that when you take your needle with your floss, your twine, and you're going to sew it through, there's no resistance because the holes it's bigger, so you don't have to push it through the hole. And it's great for us that have issues with our hands or joints hurting. It works. So now I'm going to show you how to sew this with a pamphlet stitch. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through the middle hole, push the needle through. Now, see how there's a tail? I usually take my thumb and hold that because you're going to hold this tail. Then you're going to take your needle and go up through the bottom hole, pull it through. See how this string is close to your page? Then you're going to take your needle and go through the top hole, then you're going to go back up through the middle hole. When you come up through the middle hole, you want to make sure you do not go through your string or the other string. On here, you're gonna hold on to the tail. You're going to wiggle these, or I'm gonna wiggle them, and I'll show you why. Because what I want is for the tails to be almost the same. Reason for that, I'll show you. I want to show you something. Okay, there we go. You want one tail on, you see the string in the middle? You want one tail on the right, on the right, my right, and one tail at the left. One on each side. You want them kind of the same, the tails to meet up, and I'll show you why in a second. So you're going to pull them so that they could be a little snug. Not really tight, but just, snug. And you're going to tie them. Now, the reason I wanted you to leave them the same, the tails, is so that you have options. And let me show you what options you have. The tails can stick out of your book, your journal, your signature like this. The reason you leaving them the same is so that you have room here, so that you can tie beads or decorate this with pieces of paper, so that you can have dangles hanging out from your journal if you want. If you don't want that, then you have the other option of cutting your tails, and your tails will be in your book that way. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take a seat because I've been standing too long. My legs are shaky. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the directions of how to do the pamphlet stitch, because I know that it is a little complicated. Okay, so the pamphlet stitch. Okay, you're going to make 3 holes where I put the X's, right? You're going to cut your floss, the embroidery floss, at 3 times the length, 3 times the length of your journal. Remember I showed you 1, 2, and 3, and then we cut. Then you're going to thread your needle. Then you're gonna go down the middle hole. And put a little star and says hold on to the tail. With your thumb. Then you're gonna go up the bottom hole. Up the bottom hole. Then you're gonna go down the top hole. And then you're gonna come up the middle hole. Star, making sure you don't go through the string, making sure you don't go through string. Make sure you have 1 tail on each side. Well, remove needle. Tail at each side. Then you're gonna tail on each side. You're gonna tie it, and then you're gonna trim to your liking. Okay, I'm gonna bring it up so that if you're wanting, you can take a screenshot of it, so you can have little notes on how to do a pamphlet stitch. Okay, so I hope this answers your question, Joy of oh my goodness, what did I do right here? Joy of Giving. I'm trying to find, oh, there it is. Where you can do a pamphlet stitch. You can just tie it with a piece of embroidery floss, or you can use staples and then cover it up and cover up the spine. In case you don't have a sewing machine, these are 3 ways that you can put your booklets, your journals, your signatures together. If you have any question, guys, please leave them in the comment section and I will get back to you. And I welcome all questions, and I will make videos answering your questions if it's not something I can answer back in a comment. Okay, thank you for stopping by my channel. Make sure to hit the little thumbs up for me. That means that you like my video. I hope you understood what I was saying. I try to speak slowly. Sometimes I get ahead of myself and I talk fast. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. I will get back to you. I hope you're having a good day and that you do some crafting today. Bye, guys.